Sleep detectors in the house.
In the house.
In the house.
Raise the roof.
That's it. Ready to solve these sleep crimes. How are you, Bec?
I'm good, thanks, Sally. How's yourself?
Good. Did I surprise you with that coming in hot
yes.
intro?
Yeah, that's right. You did. And now I've just got that coming in hot, do in my mind.
We love a bit of old school R&B. Today is our Sleep Detectives episode where we answer your burning baby sleep questions. And today's very first question actually came into my inbox because I appreciate this. The question box on Instagram stories is very teeny tiny and we often need a lot more information, as if you might have noticed on last week's episode where we're like, please tell us more. This one says, "Hi, Sally. I can't fit my whole question in your questions box for your Sleep Detective episode. My 6-month-old has recently started rolling from his back to belly in his cot. Sometimes he cries out during the night like he's stuck on his belly. Do I leave him? He can self-settle and has been sleeping through the night for a little while now." I'm going to assume baby can roll both ways here. This can be a milestone in terms of rolling in their sleep or as part of the night that can sometimes create a wobble even for the best of sleepers, which it sounds like this little poppet has some incredible sleep skills, self-settling and sleeping through the night at the age of 6 months. Usually, knowing they can go both ways, I just sort of take a less is more approach. Sometimes we actually want to encourage, a lot of babies actually roll onto their tummy as part of their self-settling process as well. And we want them to know how they can get nice and comfy and into their perfect position, just like we would in bed. So, I mean, I'll never tell a family that they can't go in and if they think baby can't figure it out in the night and not roll them back over. But chances are you don't need to, knowing they can go back and forth on their own.
Sometimes it's a case of you'll notice that they're in like a real wild position, and that can be a little concerning for families, particularly if they're burying their faces right into the mattress, and that sort of gives a little bit of cause for concern. And so if there's ever an inkling of doubt or feeling a little funny about the situation, it's fine to go in and move them and do what you need to do. But typically, once they are rolling and they can roll onto their tummies, I'm absolutely with you. I would sort of just leave them to it and let them do their thing. But if they're finding it a struggle to flip back or they're getting really upset, then it might just be a case of deciding on a timer and sort of, going in and turning them back over once every 5 to 10 minutes or something like that.
I remember doing that during naps with my daughter, and I was like, oh, looks like she's having a hard time now on her tummy. So I would go in, roll her back, and before I'd even got to the door to leave, she had flipped back onto her tummy and cried. I was like, mate, you have done this
make
yourself.
A decision.
And so I ended up sort of doing it a couple of times, and then I left it. I was like, I've seen you do this back and forth all day. Like, you just need to link that you can do it as part of sleep. And sometimes I think they're just taken by a bit of surprise. But I work with so many babies that just love being tummy sleepers.
Oh, yeah, same. I actually think that, just from the work that we do for so long, Sally, there is a preference. Once they are able to roll onto their tummies, most babies do prefer that. It does switch off the startle reflex too once they're on their tummy. And even though you may hear that the only reason they're rolling onto their tummy is because they are really cold, in my experience, that's not typically the case. They just prefer it.
The same baby, the one that would roll and then just flip herself back over, she loved it so much that when I would first put her down, I would not have time to zip up the zip on her sleeping bag because she would have put her thumb in and she's already tried to roll onto it. And I was like, like a little alligator, like wrestling. Get back on it. Like, let me just finish the zip. Okay, now you can go. She was like, no, I'm good. I got my system. So usually it's, for a great self-settling baby who's got these greats, it's usually just a less is more. But of course, if you ever need to or want we'll never say that you can't. I mean, we'll never say any hard and fast rules, but yeah, they'll sort it out. Okay. Now, the next question, I actually realized, I'm so sorry, listeners, there's a few questions on Spotify for the pod that I have missed. So apologies. Please note that if you've written there and you don't hear back, our DMs are always open, our question boxes. Sometimes it can just be tricky. As you all know, we are not the savviest when it comes to technology, and we're getting questions in left, right, and centre. This question here is about the 2-to-1 nap transition episode, which we made. I think it went out last week. And this mother's written, amazing, loved this. Thank you. Thank you. Can you please confirm what the wake windows look like on the transitional schedule? I'm confused by the 2.5 wake window between these two naps. Bubby's 14 months doing a 3.5 to 4 hour wake window. So this is referring to the transitional schedule that you and I were talking about in that episode, which really we'll often use from 12 months roughly onwards to try and hold on to the 2 naps for as long as possible before the inevitable 2-to-1 nap drop. So if this baby is 14 months old, this is the perfect schedule. And it would look like roughly a 6:45, it's like 7 a.m. up to start the day. Nap 1, 10 till 10:30. Nap 2 is 1 till 3, and then we use a 4-hour wake window until bed. So this question is about, why is the wake window so short between the 10 to 10:30 nap and the 1 to 3 nap when their baby is used to doing these long ones? And then we even use a 4-hour wake window after nap 2. And so I understand it can feel intimidating to use such a short wake window, but there is a reason why. Go Bec. You're welcome to use my pressure cooker, rice cooker analogy here.
So I just want to sort of make it super easy for families to think about in terms of, why we do this. So we are at this age, we're teaching our little ones how to manage a longer stretch, manage a longer wake window before they get to the 1 nap schedule. And so we shorten nap 1 so that we preserve sleep pressure for nap 2 to be the nice long one. So we just give a really quick, short 30-minute nap. And as they start getting a little older, that 30-minute nap actually becomes shorter again. We cap it. Because we're manipulating that nap and we are shortening it, it's not a full sleep cycle. If it was a full sleep cycle of, say, 40 to 45 minutes, then the wake window would be, the big chunky 3.5 hours. But because it's short, we can't go in with the big long wake window because we want to prevent our little ones from being overtired and then inadvertently having a short nap because they've got cortisol that's preventing them from having a nice long one. So we just do a short, quick power snooze like in the morning, and then we use 2.5 hours to build the sleep pressure right back up again to its sweet spot, and then we pop our little ones down at 1 o'clock for them to go into the cot, lovely, well rested, nicely fed, all the things. And if it takes a little while for them to go off to sleep, maybe 15, 20 minutes, I'm not going to sweat it because at least we're putting our little ones down well rested, and they are using their skill from fully wide awake to feeling drowsy, feeling sleepy, and conking out all by themselves. And because they are well rested and putting themselves off to sleep, they've got maximum ability then to keep linking their sleep cycles and enjoy the long sleep. So I guess the other way of looking at it is that we are trying to get to for a little one of this age, we're trying to get to a long nap at 1 o'clock, and we are just doing the little rice cooker pressure release at 10.
Yep.
And then putting the lid back on and then going back through. So it's designed to get us to the big nap. So that's why we use the shorter wake window to not overcook our little ones.
And then it's the same. The reason why we then use the 4-hour wake window on the other side is for exactly the same reason you've just talked about. They've had a 1 till 3, or we're looking at it as the whole nap time. They don't have to have been exactly asleep from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. Using your example of if they've sort of fluffed around for 15 minutes. they're up at 3, they have had a full restorative nap. They have energy to burn. We need to build sleep pressure. We want to keep bedtime in the 7s. That's why we then use that full chunky wake window as opposed to just the little power snooze to just take the edge off in the morning. And we do often hear families when they do have a go at this, that second nap where they were so scared that baby wouldn't take it, they actually take this lovely long sort of holy grail afternoon nap, and it just shows the power of being well rested to sleep better.
That's it. 100%.
Which seems counterintuitive. You would think if you're that tired, you'll take a big long nap, but the overtiredness just makes everything so fragile.
Absolutely. I even know this for myself, the overtiredness, like when you've had a really big day and you're exhausted and,
Absolutely.
and it keeps compounding and you've got so many things on your mind and you're going to bed and you just want to sleep well and then you can't fall asleep. And then you're like, time is ticking, and it's just that whole process. You just don't have the greatest sleep. You keep waking up.
It's the same after a night duty shift as a nurse. Like I have been up for almost 2 days and it's like the wrong times, but you would think that with enough sleep pressure, I'd be out cold for 10 hours. I will absolutely pass out. It is the most glorious feeling after a night shift to hop into bed. It is heaven. And then I could be up at 2 hours and my head is just busy and I'm like trying to coach myself into going back to sleep. It's really hard when you're that far gone.
Yeah, night shift would be difficult, really difficult.
What were you going to say? You looked excited about something.
Oh no, but I'm not so sure if it's the right analogy. It's when like you go when you go to
Give it a whirl.
when you're going somewhere exciting, like you're going on holiday and you need to be up for the airport at like 4:00 in the morning, and you would typically go to bed and sleep soundly. You know how you'd sleep soundly until 5:30 or whatnot in the morning, to get up and start your day. But for whatever reason, the excitement is, and like you're just wired at this point because you're like, I cannot sleep through this.
For children.
I can't sleep. But like, what if the alarm doesn't go off at 4 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like those crazy
the amount of times
have I
check
set the
my
alarm? Yes. And like, so you have this broken sleep. And then you sort of think, okay, well, I didn't sleep the best overnight, so I'll conk out on the plane. Like,
no.
I mean, our listeners are not going to do that because they've got young children probably traveling with them. But the key, you don't conk out.
No, but even my babies don't conk out. Like I'm the one back at the back of the thing, like bouncing, being like, I know I got you up early. Well, that's my second. My first, I remember her falling asleep while I had a champagne in the Qantas lounge. Yeah, no notes. And so
we all want to live
fragile
Sally's life, don't we? Like, Sally. Yeah,
it's pretty
amazing.
good. I find a lot of moments to be grateful. Okay, here we go. Which Avent bottles do you recommend, the anti-colic or the natural response? This was a comment on our solids, bottles and wake time sleep detectives episode a while back.
I am a less is more, the less fussy. I am.
You're going to say the classic.
I just come from an age of when there wasn't all the options. And I just honestly, when there's less options, there's no conflicting thoughts. So I am, when it comes to the Avent bottles, yes, I'm the natural classic.
I do think sometimes the amount of options and different teats and flow, and I was even chatting to a client yesterday who said she ordered the teat and it came from somewhere else, but it says the same size, but the flow is, I think it can, too many variables, and we're scratching our head as to like, why is baby not taking or is taking, like, and so if we just keep it really simple and use something
Simons.
we just simple Simons, and that's what the Avent classic is if you're going to go with that bottle.
Yeah, I think when I had my little guys, the new fandangle thing was you turned the lid to face a certain way and then the flow would be, and I was like, I can't even, my eyesight was so poor and I didn't have glasses back then, and I was like, I can't even see the dots to line up with a certain thing. So I was like, no, and then just went, back to a classic. But
I
yeah,
think it's usually the same with dummies, although lots of babies have different preferences and it can be worth trying. But sometimes I've read like what that dummy is for and why it's shaped this way. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, my brain is exploding. Don't you just pop it in? No.
Yeah, just the more choices. So many more choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're sticking with the classic for the Avent
We're going with the
bottle.
classic. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. This is something you and I love to talk about. How do you transition a snacker to 4-hourly feeding? Do you do it slowly, i.e. feeding 3-hourly, lengthen the gap slowly, or do you just go all in and deal with some crying? I'm just going to see if I know how old this baby is. If they're listening to that episode, they're going to be roughly 5 months, 5 months onwards.
I think we've got the same answer for this, don't we, Sal?
You just push through.
Mm.
You just push through.
Just choose
It's usually
a time.
just, yeah,
choose a time and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. I mean, of course, you can definitely do it slowly if you wanted to. I just don't think you need to. I think you're actually going to drag out the process more than is necessary. And it is usually just the one spaced feeding stretch that a baby then takes that bigger, more consolidated feed, and then you don't look back because then they've had the volume for a 4-hourly feed. And so they're satiated for the next one. For the most part, if that's how I see it. It's usually that one stretch. And sometimes they don't even, they're just sort of maybe a bit grizzly or a bit confused, like, oh, I'm used to having my 60 mils and then another 90 and another 20. And
when I get a little bit bored, I just usually get a boob or a little bit of a bottle in my mouth, so it's sort of like.
Yeah. They're just not in on the plan. They're just not in. So this is where you become unflappable. We've talked about that in the toddler, the 2-year regression. You just kind of become unflappable. You know the plan. You know that they're not getting fed. That is never part of our plans. They're about to get the biggest feed of their little life. Their little body clock is not yet anticipating it. So, I would say you just push through and you use distraction. You go outside, you do an activity, and 4 hours comes by and bang, we're on.
I just had a little chuckle then because I thought about how it's similar to when, you're starting a new regime with like eating well and you're so used to, I'm going to have a coffee and I might have a couple of digestives like with my coffee and then, and then I'm like, someone's got some chocolates out.
Like, I can't eat it.
and then all, and it takes, a couple of days and then you feel great because you're on the new plan. And then it just starts to settle into, okay, well, I'm going to have my beautiful breakfast, lunch and dinner and then I might have my nuts or whatever in between. But you've very quickly get onto a new pattern and that's what it is. It's patterns. It's feeling nice and full. It is, getting those great calories in and you don't kind of look back. Pick a moment. If I was going to pick a moment to do the uncomfortable period, it would be, this lady is not asking for this advice, but I think it's,
give it.
Sometimes, so for example, for some families, I would say, let's just say we started on a Thursday night. We had our consultation in the Thursday afternoon and I'm saying you kind of want to get onto your 4-hourly feeds. Let's see how we go. Let's have it in the back of your mind tonight for your homework. It doesn't have to look, this is not technically night one, so we're not, but go in with tonight with the plan of 4-hourly feeds. Just try and get through. And then at 7:00, you might have fed at 4 a.m. and given both sides, and then come 7:00, they're not that interested in taking a full feed. That's fine. That's your moment. That is your moment to go, okay, 7:00 wasn't the greatest. However, I've got to get through to 11 and that's your moment. That's going to be uncomfortable. You're usually out of distraction. You're going to have a nap in there as well. You can go out the pram and just get to 11. 11 o'clock's going to roll around and then that beautiful milk feed is going to be so good.
Yeah.
Your boobs are going to be nice and full. Baby's going to take both sides and be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that was humongous. And then you've got, but within that next 4-hour time frame, you've got a little bit of solids, you've got a big nap, and there's very little time that you kind of have to, exactly. So that would be my
And you also
go-to.
don't have the afternoon ratties.
Yes.
Everyone starts to drop their bundle a little bit
Yeah.
as the day goes on. So start when things are fresh. And I'm the same as you, Beck. I always tell families, yes, we're not technically starting, but
Mm.
because 7 a.m. is an important moment in the plan,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
kind of need to reverse engineer the night before just to get to 7 a.m. And
Mm.
as you said, like just keep it in the back of your mind. This is the goal here.
Mm.
And yes, it may not look perfect. And sometimes there is trial and error with that early morning feed. And we just got to get, without
Mm.
early, it's a whole thing. But I'm the same. We have to kind of look at the night before, 7 a.m. Don't panic. If it's 120 mils versus the 240 that I've got on the plan, it's okay because 11 a.m.
Yeah,
you're
that's
on.
it.
Yeah.
100%. You've
Um,
got this.
You've got this. And so does your baby. So does your baby. They've just fed, I mean, in these examples, they've just fed twice overnight. Like
Mm.
they
Yeah, yeah.
just, yeah, you show them the plan. Okay. Room is 20 to 21 degrees according to the monitor, long sleeve pajamas and pants, not footed, and a 1.5 tog sleep sack. I am going to my recommendation would probably to bump up the tog. I'm assuming they're asking, like, is this how you would dress a baby for a 20 to 21 degrees Celsius for any of our overseas listeners? Degree room. The monitors I find can overreach a little bit. This is a very
Mm.
general answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Monitors can overreach a little bit. So sometimes I minus a couple of degrees. So this could, in fact, be more like 18 to 19.
Mm.
I don't know if there's aircon on. I don't know if the heater's on. I would normally say we'll go a singlet. This is how I've done it in my house because mine's set at 21. A singlet, or for anyone overseas, that would be a vest or a short sleeve onesie.
Mhm.
We're going to go in with a long sleeve, long legged pajama onesie and a 2.5 tog sleep sack. And then I would review.
Mhm. I am exactly the same as you. Those monitors can be a little pesky with their readings,
Mm,
and I agree, a couple of degrees out. So I would be the same. This for me, 2021, particularly at this time of year, is a 2.5 tog bag for me.
mm,
So 2.5s are typically temperature ranging from 16, 17 degrees until to about 20, 21. So while it feels like it's on the higher end of the range,
mm.
you it factors in the idea that perhaps that temperature is out just a little bit. Also, we have
Yeah.
a great podcast episode on how to dress little ones for the winter. And in that, we talk about right at the end, I think we talk about how if you're cooling your room with the air conditioning and it's 21
Mm.
degrees, that's a very different
That's a
feel. Yeah.
Yes, and I remember we sound like we're mansplaining, like if you blow cold air, it will be cold. But yes, because this comment was on our Why Does Baby Wake at 5 a.m., where we talk about being chilly can be a genuine
Mm.
cause of what feels like early rising. But yes, we do that. Good memory. The how to dress your baby for the winter.
Mm.
So if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, that's the one to listen to in the next couple of months.
Mm. So
Um,
1.5 tog rated bag for me is it's more in the like 21 to 24 degree range. So while that is they are following the dress guides for that
mm,
particular
mm,
temperature range.
mm,
I just feel if you minus a couple of degrees, I think that's the confusion because she's right on the cusp of actually being on
yes.
both sleeping bag tog ratings. But yeah, the other way to consider it too is what's happening overnight. Like that's going to be your
Mm.
best
Yeah, if
indication
your baby
of what's
sleeps
going on.
through, they're not cold.
Yeah, then they're fine. But if you are having these funny stubborn wakings and you just can't figure it out, and they're typically between say 3 and 5 o'clock, then that would be you rule that out first of sort of going,
Mm.
okay, we're switching it up, warmer sleeping bag, extra layer.
I can't tell you the amount of messages I've had over the years
Mm,
of people either after chatting with me or even now listening to the podcast, and when we answer these sorts of questions, that have said, oh, I went and bumped the heater up, or I increased the tog rating of the sleeping bag, or I got a merino wool,
mm,
and essentially warmed up the baby or warmed up the room, and how that in and of itself has solved so much of the sleep issue.
My middle child is he is a hot frog, like not a cold frog like me.
And some are. I'm a chilly frog with you.
So he will deny all throughout winter that he's cold. But I can tell he's cold because he's just got like one doona over him. And when I go in to wake him, because he's a teenager in the morning, he is tangled up. He is completely tangled up in the duvet. So I realize, like, I just know that, you know, and I say to him, do you need an extra doona? Do you need an extra doona? Eventually, it was about 3 weeks ago, he said, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Anyway, you know that it's working and that they were cold, because when I go in now to go and get him, I just have to flick the bed, like the duvets back. I put 2 duvets on him. He's slept so soundly. He hasn't wriggled at all, and there is like no movement with the duvets. So like the extra weight helps to keep them nice and relaxed and sleep really well. So you can kind of tell that they sleep better.
I can get away. I mean, my toddler is no longer in a sleeping bag, but for both of my babies, I would have a room that sat just like this question, roughly 20 to 21 degrees Celsius. And I could get away with a singlet, a Bonds Wondersuit, and a 2.5 to 3.5 TOG rated sleeping bag, depending on what was in the wash or who had vomited on what, and almost year round in Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
With a little bit of temperature control. Yeah.
Amazing.
No, I do. I own a 1.5 and I took it to Bali and I didn't need it because the aircon made it cold.
Oh, it was
surprise,
so cold.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think a 2.5 is just such a winner. If you're
so
not somewhere
it's
so versatile. That's the word I'm looking for.
But you can tell, like, sorry, and I'll just end on this. It is everybody's bugbear. Temperature, knowing what to wear, it's everyone's bugbear. It is not you. No one is alone on this. It is very hard to decipher.
There's actually some like horrible fear mongering. You know, I've heard horrible slogans about cold babies cry and hot babies die. Like it's really. I think that's just a horrible, horrible thing to ever plant in a parent's mind. So I totally get it. We're all just wanting to do the absolute best, and so there's our recommendation. But I think you make a good point. How about what's happening overnight? You know, I can't fix this 3 a.m. waking. Yeah, let's give it a go. All right, last one. Oh, I just lost it. Do you have a podcast episode on the 6-month sleep regression? No. We don't. We've got a podcast on the 4-month sleep regression, and we have a podcast on what is commonly referred to as the 8-month sleep regression. We talk about how it's this perfect storm of lots of milestones and nap drops and transitions that happen usually between the ages of 8 to 10 months. And there is often a regression in sleep. The reason, I can only speak for myself, Bec. The reason I am yet to suggest an episode on the 6-month sleep regression is because I don't and I say this in the nicest possible way, I don't subscribe that there is a distinct 6-month sleep regression. Part of me would think, is this the 4-month sleep regression that has, because we know that's a permanent change in how a baby sleeps, is that just still ongoing, you know, and we can tidy up feeds and schedules and work on self-settling and watch it appear, have habits snuck in that have derailed some sleep. There's no sort of definitive, yes, that's a 6-month sleep regression.
It's a little bit kind of like the 8-month regression in the sense that there's a few things going on at that age, and that they, combined, they can start to sort of feel like sleep is taking your nosedives. These particular things would be the introduction of solids, dropping from sometimes little ones at this age are dropping from 4 to 3 naps. Some little ones are learning to crawl, learning to roll.
Yeah.
There's object permanence that comes into play, and a little bit of separation anxiety. So there's a few factors. Is it a regression? No, it's just that we have to look at all of these things individually and tackle them individually and iron them out. And then you should be sweet. But yeah, there's a few things going on at this age which can feel like, oh God, not another thing to
Isn't there always so, like, there is just, it is endless. Like I totally get it for parents listening. It feels like there is regression because it often feels like you've just got on top of something.
Yeah.
Or I even was speaking to a client yesterday. I was like, it sounds like the moment you've fixed a problem, something else creeps in. Like you fixed the early rise, but now there's a nap refusal. Or you fixed the bedtime battle, but now you've got a lengthy overnight waking. Sometimes it can be really tricky. So that's what Bec and I are here for. So regardless of, I mean, regressions, as in sleep regresses, it was better and now it's worse, happen all the time for a whole different myriad of reasons. And there is just so much going on. So this is where you jump into a consult. Oh, sorry, something just dropped behind me. You jump into a consult and we will just have a look and we just take it as what you are experiencing rather than it needing to call it a specific regression. Because I think sometimes the trap with that is also, and I see this on social media, is that then there is this idea of, oh, that 6-month sleep regression only lasted 2 weeks, hang in there. And so parents are sometimes then sort of left waiting and then left waiting and the waiting continues. And, oh, no, something improved, but no, we're back. So no time like the present to troubleshoot and fix what might be going on for you.
Yeah, I agree. 6 months is a great time to do a little bit of sleep work.
It's such a sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah, my favorite age.
Solids,
because
solids
it's mostly,
in the mix.
it's just, I'm already excited to it's shaping the day. It's getting, your solids in the mix, like creating opportunities for things to fall into place really naturally and easily. Organically, sleep improves. You put a little bit of sleep training
they're so ready
onto
to sleep
it.
better.
It's like a little sprinkle.
Yeah.
It just feels like it all falls into place pretty quickly and relatively easily. So if you're thinking about sleep work, our pick is 6
Bec and I will
months.
fight as to who
duel
gets
you. It's mine.
Maybe one day we should do a oh gosh, that was an excited voice. Maybe we should do one day a we love baby sleep, a 2-week package, like a nap trapped 2-week package. We will transform your sleep and we could just do a little check-in each day and update and just no sugarcoating because wobbles happen. That's why we do 2 weeks.
I would love that.
Yeah. So if you're listening, you can write it in the comment and hopefully I'll see it and you're not left waiting another 3 weeks like these poor listeners.
I'll just keep hounding Sally. Have you checked the comments yet?
Oh, mate, you can log in
I guess
too.
I can also have a look.
That's all right. I'll just edit it. I'll just record. We'll do the graphics, Bec. All right, we better take this off air.
Right. Meet you outside.
Don't fight in front of the children. All right. Well, that is Sleep Detectives for today. We love these episodes, so keep the questions coming. And next week we'll also add another question box up on our social media. But we will see you then. See you later.
Perfect. See you guys.
Bye.